What's going on, Muscle Monsters? Align Gonzalez here, and welcome to another Ask Align, where I take your questions directly from the Facebook fan page and answer them right here in one of these videos. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. First question comes from Nico. Should I integrate stuff like running in my program? This is because my tummy's really pissing me off. I thought running would help making it flat. All right, this is kind of not the case, right? Just running is not going to burn belly fat on its own. What you need to do if you want to burn belly fat is put yourself in a caloric deficit, be that through diet, training, or both. However, if your goal is still to build muscle, then you don't want to try to attempt to do these two things at the same time. What I would recommend is watch the video that I did on should I bulk or cut. Take the information from there, make a decision, and figure out if it's really time for you to cut down and try to get shredded, or if you should still take some more time to really focus on building size. All right, and I'm going to link that in the description below. Marcus, what's your thoughts on swimming? The real shit, no hippie swimming or aerobics for old people or such. Its impact on making muscle and strength gains, bad or good. I'm currently taking a swimming course and I feel it really helps me, but I want to hear your opinion. All right, Marcus, I do believe that intense swimming or the non-hippie swimming that you're talking about is going to be a great form of active recovery. And we know how big of a role recovery plays in building muscle. So yes, it could be beneficial. I don't see any negative aspects to it, except for the fact that now your energy expenditure is much higher. So you're going to have to make up the calories in order to keep you in that slight surplus, so that you're continuing to put on size. But yeah, I think it's a great thing, and I think it's going to do more good than bad. So yeah. Next question. Mark Buney. Are rest days really needed? I've spoken to bodybuilders who haven't had a day off in years. Yeah, they're definitely necessary, right? Because that's the time our body takes to recover and rebuild to grow. When you say that you've spoken to bodybuilders who haven't taken a day off in years, you know, there's a lot of things to consider, and I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but what you're going to realize is that some people do things differently than others. So while this guy might squat 7 days a week, and that's how he's become the best squatter, this guy might only squat twice a week and be just as good, right? So there's not one way to skin the cat. There's plenty of ways, and I don't think the question should be, do you really need rest days? Yes, we absolutely need rest days. I think the question should be, how many rest days do we really need? And this is going to boil down to you, right? How you're training, the intensity of your training, how long you've been running that intensity, the training blocks, the programming, etc. So there's, again, not one clear-cut answer, but yes, rest is absolutely necessary. And, you know, just consider the fact that when people use certain supplements, the rest is not as critical, right? Because they're recovering much faster anyways. Raphael, if you're overweight, how long do you stay on a diet? Some might say till you lose all the weight, or should you do it in cycles? That's a great question. All right, but it really comes down to how you're dieting. If you're crash dieting or doing something extreme just to get the weight off, then yes, you want to do this in cycles, right? Small cycles. And this is not even something I recommend. But if you are dieting in a smart, flexible manner, right, where you're slowly bringing down the calories over time, manipulating your activity levels over time, then you could do this for a prolonged period of time with no negative effects, right? Brandon, if you could only do 2 exercises for chest, which would they be? I would do a flat bench, mainly because I compete in powerlifting and it's something I'm going to have to do. So I would do the flat bench, and then I would do an incline dumbbell press, right? Because this is going to give me more stimulus on the upper clavicular. It's going to allow for, you know, that full range, getting the humerus across the chest with the dumbbells. And I'm already doing a barbell movement with the bench press. So those would be my 2. Craig, what is a realistic goal for a non-newbie in terms of how much muscle you can expect to add in a year? I've read some people say 2 to 3 kilograms per year, while others say much more. What sort of realistic targets should people be aiming for? All right, it really just depends on what you consider to be a non-newbie, right? A beginner is someone who's been training for 2 years or less, right? So that person could probably go 2 to 3 pounds a month and build a good amount of muscle in comparison to the amount of fat they put on. Now, if you're more of a beginner, maybe someone who's been training for the first, 12 weeks, that person might be able to put on 5 pounds or more, right? Without putting on too much fat. Now, as you get into the intermediate stages, say 2 to 4 years, then maybe 1 to 2 pounds a month, and then anything longer than that, maybe 1/4 pound to 1/2 pound a month. And that's just kind of a basic rule of thumb that you can kind of follow. All right, and David, what do you think about BCAAs, like the 2:1:1 ratio to the 8:1:1 ratio? It's basically just the ratio of leucine to isoleucine to valine, and a 2:1:1 is probably your best bet. The thing is that leucine is probably the most powerful branched chain amino acid when it comes to building muscle, but isoleucine and valine are helpful as well, so you still want to get a good amount of those, considering you're probably already getting enough leucine through your diet anyway. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button below. If you want to get your questions answered, go to facebook.com/muscle monsters, like the page, and next time I post a status stating that it's question time, leave your question and I'll answer it here. Peace.